welcome to Voices from the Valley. I'm Shereen, Bhan. My guest today is Vishal Sikka'S. He's completed his first full fiscal year at Infosys and he's now delivered for 4 straight quarters, beating analyst expectations. As we join him at Infosys' headquarters here in Silicon Valley, we find out more about what he intends to do to transform Infosys into a new services company and his plan for 2020, if he's on track or not to meet those ambitious targets. The near-term, the short-term and the long-term vision on the Sikka'S special. Vishal, thanks very much for joining us on CNBC TV 18, and we're here in your office in San Francisco, and of course very, very different from your campuses in Bangalore. But let me start by asking you, it's the end of your first fiscal year at Infosys. The first conversation that you and I had, you said that the effort was going to be to bring in automation, innovation, education and operational excellence. How do you think you've done on all of those parameters in the first fiscal year?
I think it's still very early, but a lot is going on. As you can see here, we have an automated farm, completely self-regulating, that we are putting together for one of our clients. And we are still in the early stages of that. But we have made great progress that I'm really, really proud of.
What are you most satisfied with in terms of performance?
I was just giving you a tour of the place. As excited as I am about all these next generation things, I mean, in here we have our virtual reality lab where we have a small team that is doing really cutting edge stuff in new experiences for retail, for education, for repair. This digital farming here and all this advanced work that we are doing. But the thing that makes me very proud is the grassroots innovation. When I see 27, 28-year-old kids come up with great ideas through zero distance in all our ongoing projects. And the fact that when I started the zero distance program about 13 months ago, if you had told me that I would be talking to you here a year later and every project where there is an Infosys project manager has a zero distance plan, I would have said this is impossible. And yet here we are. In less than a year, this is, today is Cinco de Mayo. It is 5th of May, so there is Mexican food here.
Excellent. Maybe we could sample some of that in a bit. But you were, talking about what you've been able to achieve in the past 2 years that you've been here at Infosys. But let me talk to you in terms of the outlook and the performance. I mean, 4 straight quarters of growth, industry-leading growth, constant currency about 13.3%. You have said, of course, that you can revisit the guidance in case you get more visibility. From where you stand here today, do you feel more confident of being able to revise that upwards?
No, we are confident with the number that we have given. So far, I mean, it's just a month that has gone by. So actually, the earnings was just a couple of weeks ago. So we are still gathering up information and executing on the business. Generally, I feel that the opportunity ahead of us is a massive one. I was just looking at the numbers and the performance of many companies in our industry, and not only in the services industry but broadly in IT. And you see that companies are struggling. And yet from where I sit, I see that there is a tremendous opportunity, that a company that can really help enterprises become digital. I mean, people talk to me about digital. This farm that I showed you here, that is digital. It is a truly next generation experience. One of the things that we are doing with our virtual reality work is recreating the experience of being in one of the flagship stores of one of the greatest retail companies in the world. But instead of 500 or 800 people going into the store at a time, you can have 1 million people walk into the store and get the same experience of walking around in London or in Union Square or in Times Square. That is digital. And to me, companies in every industry are looking for help in transforming their agenda towards this next generation, atoms turning into bits kinds of agendas, as well as in bringing artificial intelligence and automation to dramatically simplifying their existing business and existing systems. And a company that can serve both of these needs has no shortage of opportunities. So this is what I see. And I see that if we are able to get our internal house in order to get all these things done, then we will get to the...
So when you talk about getting the internal house in order, how much of the work that you wanted to sort of get done. In order for you to go after these new areas of opportunity, have you been able to do so far?
We are making very good progress. But it is, 200,000 people in the company, So even though with zero distance, I feel really proud of what our team has been able to accomplish and getting innovation done at this massive scale. But really from the leap from where we are towards becoming a strategic partner of the clients, it is something that we have demonstrated in the last 20 months that we have made great progress, but it is still progress where myself or Praveen or our three presidents are directly involved. We need to bring this to a scale where instead of just the 50 accounts, we have 250, we have 1,000 accounts where we can have these kinds of deep strategic engagements.
So when you talk about this deep strategic engagement, how does this fit in then with your idea of creating a new services model, a new services company? What is that going to mean now in terms of the next milestones that you set for yourself?
That's the heart of the question. See, again, it is instructive to look at the world from these two lenses of the renewing of the existing and the completely new. And both in our world, the renewing of our existing services and in our new services, as well as the client's world, the renewal of their business and their new work. What I see is that our entire renewal of the existing business is going to be transformed around the platform that we call Mana. This going from a people-only model to software plus people. The only way that we can manage the decline in price is by bringing software in, by bringing as a result, much better automation, continuing to lower the price as the clients expect, but improving our margins and then improving our bandwidth, our throughput.
So you do believe that there is going to be more pressure as far as pricing is concerned?
I think we have seen that in the last 5-6 quarters that there is a very fundamental downward trend there. I had predicted that when I started, and that's an inevitability. We have to outperform that through automation, and we have to outperform that by lowering the number of people per project, so that the same number of people can do more projects, and people can then free up the bandwidth to innovate.
So give me a sense of what we can expect in terms of the benefits on account of automation. If you can break that down for us in terms of numbers, that would be great. Now, I understand in the quarter gone by, you could free up in that sense 1,700 odd people, over 1,100 in the previous quarter, and then 800 on top of that. What is this going to mean incrementally as far as the margin picture is concerned? Because that's the concern. I mean, you've held out a guidance of between 24 and 26. You've done 25 last fiscal. What can we expect?
This is the heart of the issue that we see in the industry and certainly in our company as well. Right now, if you look at the 1,700 that we did in Q4, this number, while it is a huge number and we are proud of it, it gets lost in this is like 1.5% movement of utilization in one way or the other has more effect than the 1,700 people through automation. So we need to get to the point where this number is, over the next few quarters, this number is in the several thousands. Once it crosses 10,000, which I expect it will happen in a couple of years, then this number will become a significant contributor to the margin. But right now, we are still early. What I keep suggesting...
So how do you cushion the margins then, given the fact that you are going to continue to see pressure on pricing?
There are lots of existing levers as well. There are lots of existing levers. Utilization is a big one. On-site, the number of people on-site versus the ability to use better technology like the virtual reality technology to get more offshore people at the same cost to participate in a richer way in on-site projects. This is another way. The role ratios, senior versus junior. I mean, a lot of the youngsters that we have coming out of Mysore have gone through design thinking training. They are much more fluent in the modern technology, so we want to get more of the youngsters involved. So there are several of these kinds of levers.
So you don't anticipate a downside risk as far as your margin guidance is concerned?
This is the burden that we have to ensure. So we are holding the margin guidance at where we are 25 plus or minus 1%. And I feel confident that we'll get that done. Automation's contribution to that, while it is vital this year, will be a small one. But the margin performance that we will deliver will be as a result of this. So the basic approach is improving through automation, improving productivity, improving bandwidth, using that bandwidth for more innovation and more of these next generation kinds of projects, and fueling both of those through education. This is the basic idea, is automation, innovation and education.
Okay.
And I believe that if we execute on this, we have a shot at getting to that 20 billion 30%, $80,000. This is the only way it will happen.
And you're still confident of being able to get there by 2020?
That is our aspiration. And the more time that goes by, the more I feel that it is in reach.
So, since we're talking about the targets that you've set for yourself, let me ask you about the aggression that we're seeing Infosys exercise in the marketplace when it comes to deal wins. And you've had a good quarter, 6 large deals that you did. It's a 45% increase if you look at FY16 over FY15 in terms of large deal wins. The aspiration there is also to have about a TCV of about $1 billion per quarter. Do you feel confident with that? And are you eking out share from competitors, or is this completely new opportunities that you're being able to get for yourself?
I think it is a mix of all of them. We can find out and let you know. I don't keep track of that. I only keep
You're not watching the competition?
No. We set our own targets. It is $1 billion and per quarter. I expect that we'll get there. If not this quarter, we'll soon get there. And we were pretty close.
757.
Something like that. And then a couple of things were different kinds of deals. And I just
so maybe next quarter we could see you get there?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a forecast on that, but our expectation is, given the pipeline and given the confidence that our team feels and the rate at which we have been winning these, that soon, if not this quarter, the next quarter or the one after that, we'll get to the $1 billion.
Okay, so that's as far as...
But then, that is just the beginning, right? Then you have to execute and deliver.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. That's the easy part that we just talked about. But let me ask you now in terms of M&A, and you've done 3 acquisitions since you came into Infosys. What more can we now expect in terms of the niches that you want to target? And you've been very clear about the fact that you don't want to do big-ticket acquisitions. You want to plug capabilities that you don't currently have within the company. So what more can we expect now on the M&A front?
The same, more of the same. I think that there is a slowdown that is happening in the investing climate. In Silicon Valley, for example, the venture capitals, investments and so forth are slowing down, which means that the weightage will move towards acquisition. So we will have a better selection of companies to go after and acquire. I don't believe in acquiring yesterday's technology. I believe in acquiring things that are relevant for the future. Here is Ritika. Ritika, I'm answering one of your questions. So acquiring next generation technology, AI, collaboration, design, intelligence services, people that solve complex problems with software that can be amplified by people, and that we can bring a large scale to these kinds of companies. Anything on the radar? There are several that we are looking at. Ritika is looking at them, probably a dozen or so. Very few of them are larger ones. Mostly we believe in... So you've done what, about between 120 to about 200 million? That's the kind of range that you've done. I mean, the teams are doing great. Skava, Pana, and the Noah teams are doing very well. We just had our customer event. In the virtual reality lab that I showed you, we have a VR experience for Skava that we have put together. We have a chat experience on Skava that we are just rolling out. So it's going extremely well. So that sort of a thing. But one very important part of that inorganic strategy is also our investments that we make. And we have made about 8 of them so far in smaller companies, more high-risk companies. I am really excited about those as well. In particular, as the environment slows down a little bit, I think that more of very exciting companies become available. We are looking at companies in autonomous driving and autonomous navigation of vehicles, kinds of areas, trucks, airplanes, drones, these kinds of things. We are looking at things in next generation ways of collaboration and amplifying people's effect, because I believe that the reinvention of the global delivery model will involve technology and virtual technologies and so forth. So investing is an area that also we are quite excited about. And what kind of capital are we talking about? I mean, you talked about the 8 companies that you've already invested in. How much incremental capital can we expect to be deployed? That we had set aside was about 500 million. So we are nowhere close to that, consuming that. We did 40 million so far. We'll probably do somewhere in the 25 to 50 range again in the next, I would say, 9 to 12 months. Okay. Somewhere in that. I mean, you never know. So having said that, this is just a thing that you set for yourself as a guidepost. Hopefully we will exceed that. And however, we will not compromise. So if a number is below 25, then I don't want people to come and say, hey, you said 25, why didn't you invest 25? Because the companies were not good enough. But generally that is the idea, is that we'll double the investments. We have taken about 18 months to get to 40 million. Probably in the next 12 months we'll do another 40 million. So this is, but that is again, so not something that I want to hold myself to.
Sure. But from where you sit today, in terms of the revenue guidance or aspiration that you've held out from M&A, which is $1.5 billion, as far as your 2020 plan is concerned.
Wow, you remember all that.
Yes, I do. So you feel confident of being able to achieve that, or perhaps even better it? Because the expectation, or there is skepticism on you being able to achieve that number. So
$1.5 billion from acquisition?
Some degree of skepticism.
So I see again, hopefully we will exceed that because of better performance of companies, not because we just go and buy more expensive companies. So our goal is roughly a healthy mix of, organic, I mean that is what this farm shows us. Organic growth is the best. Wherever we cannot grow organically, hiring selectively new talent is the second best, and then acquiring is the third. We do need to acquire to inject new talent, new kinds of cultures, new kinds of ideas and technologies, new processes even, but that cannot be the primary mechanism of growth. So over-executing, overachieving on that $1.5 billion out of the 20 would also not be particularly healthy.
Right.
So you don't want to do that. On the other hand, if it is the right kind of inorganic growth and then it ends up going beyond 1.5, or it goes beyond 1.5 because we did a great job with the companies that we acquired and so on, then that is awesome. So roughly the ballpark that we have set up is 16.5 in the year 2020 through our renewal of our existing services, at 2 billion from these new services like stuff that you see here, or Edge, or these kinds of things,
and $1.5 billion
from organic.
But all of this, but as far as the renewal business is concerned, it assumes that you have to deliver an 18% CAGR over the next couple of years. So
it's something like 13 to 14.
Okay.
I feel that we'll get there. I feel that we have a shot at getting there. See, the 20 billion by 2020 was something that we set as an aspiration for ourselves, and life is too short.
Now it's being seen as guidance.
I know. No, it is not guidance. When it is guidance, we will let you know. It is an aspiration.